There are countless reasons why dogs are considered to be man's best friend. They offer love, loyalty, and companionship. And anyone who has ever formed a special bond with a dog can attest to the symbiotic relationship between humans and canines. But what happens to a dog when he loses his best friend? You'll never have a more loyal friend than a dog. Who else will greet you with such joy after a hard day, or show such sorrow when you have to leave the house again? Dogs are larger-hearted creatures than humans. They think with their hearts, rather than brains like us. I guess that's the reason they're far more loyal than humans. Not only are dogs loyal, but they also infuse the spirit of loyalty into humans living with them. Dogs are pack animals and are devoted to their pack. The underlying basis behind this is an integral part of their ecological and biological evolution. Humans live in a family system to collaborate. However, dogs live in packs to compete and survive. Dogs are true scavengers by nature. They scavenge at hunting packs, and most importantly, they depend on each other to survive. They remain dependent on their pack for safety from other predators. And because survivability has been one of the most basic and dominant parts of their evolution, they have remained loyal to the pack that they belong to. Humans are more complicated. Their biological and psychological needs are much more complex, so a human's loyalty cannot be placed under the same parameters as a dog's. A dog will consider its human as a part of his pack, maybe even an alpha. This makes a dog very loyal to humans. They will protect you, be affectionate and gentle towards you, and bond with you like not even a human possibly can. They will also bring out the same emotions and spirit amongst their humans as well. Having dogs around will make you happier, patient, loyal, resilient, and goofy. They say that a dog is man's best friend, which couldn't be more true when looking at this heart-wrenching story of Captain, the German Shepherd mix, who stayed at his owner's grave for 11 years before sadly passing away. The 15-year-old German Shepherd lived at the side of his owner's grave in Villa Carlos Paz, a city in Argentina. On Monday, February 19th, Captain was found dead in the bathroom of the cemetery after struggling with renal failure. Veterinarian Christian Sempel said to the Argentinian newspaper that the dog had an insufficient kidney that slowed him down since he was 4 years old, and for that, he was getting special food that the people of Fuafandes Protectora gave him. Sadly, his age and condition got the best of him. We were going to hospitalize him, but he would have died at the veterinarian, and so we preferred to let him be and attend to him in the cemetery where he lived and felt calm. It was reported that before his death, not only did he have trouble with his kidneys, causing him to throw up often, but he also had trouble walking, having lost vision in one of his eyes. Miguel Guzman, Captain's owner, died in 2006, and loyal Captain has guarded his grave ever since. A week later, Mr. Guzman's family went to pay their respects at his tomb and found the heartbroken hound sitting there howling. Since then, the grieving dog has rarely left the spot at the cemetery. Mr. Guzman bought Captain as a present for his 13-year-old son Damien in 2005, but he died suddenly in March of the following year. When his family returned from the funeral, Captain was gone. Mr. Guzman's widow, Veronica, was today reported as saying, "We searched for him, but he'd vanished. We thought he must have got run over and died. The following Sunday, we went to the cemetery, and Damien recognized his pet. Captain came up to us barking and wailing as if he were crying. We'd never taken him to the cemetery, so how he managed to find the place is a mystery. We went back there the following Sunday, and he was there again. This time, he followed us home and spent a bit of time with us, but then went back to the cemetery before it started getting dark. I don't think he wanted to leave Miguel on his own at night." Cemetery director Hector Basinga remembers the day that he first saw the dog. He said he turned up here one day all on his own and started wandering all around the cemetery until he eventually found the tomb of his master. During the day, he sometimes walks around the cemetery, but he always rushes back to the grave. And every day at 6 o'clock sharp, he lies down on top of the grave and stays there all night. Mr. Basenga said the staff at the cemetery in Villa Carlos Paz, central Argentina, are now feeding and taking care of Captain. Mr. Guzman's son, Damien, said, "I've tried to bring Captain home several times, but he always comes straight back to the cemetery. I think he's going to be there until he dies, too. He's looking after my dad." Captain follows in the tracks of Hanchiko, an Akita dog that is said to have waited in Tokyo's train station for its master to return each day for 9 years, from May of 1925, following owner Hedise Boro Juno's death at work. From there, he was transferred to the village for the wake, and from there directly to the cemetery. He did not return to his house, and he did not see the dog again. The big mystery is how Captain didn't forget the scent of his master for months after his death. The veterinarian who looked after Captain during his final days, Christian Stimples, told reporters that the dog had been receiving treatment for chronic kidney failure for several years. Stimples said, "We had detected the kidney problem 4 years ago, and all this time he had been taken care of with special food and medicine. He's an iconic dog in Carlos Paz, and since he lived most of his life in the cemetery, we decided he should die there too. He was buried the same day, and there was not much else we could do." Carlos Paz town members have compared Captain to Japan's Hachiko, again, the Akita dog who waited for his owner at their meeting point in the train station for 9 years after his death. The most famous tale of a dog's devotion beyond the grave is Greyfried Bobby, a Skye Terrier who allegedly spent 14 years guarding the Edinburgh grave of John Gray before dying himself in January of 1872. A statue and commemorative fountain were built at the southern end of the George IV Bridge. Dogs are considered to be the only animal to love their master more than themselves. They function by a reward center stimuli operating in their brains called the cadet nucleus, which controls the unconditional affection towards their loved ones. Studies have shown that looking a dog in the eyes can boost levels of oxytocin, a hormone involved in social bonding in both the person and the dog. Biting a dog on its neck is considered the best and most loving way of proving your affection. The harder the love bite is, the closer the bond grows. Dogs are descendants of wolves and other wild canines. These animals function within a pack structure. This means there's a leader and then subordinates in the group. Initially, scientists theorized that there's always an alpha male who looks after the pack. But these studies weren't performed in the wild, and it turns out wolves' social structures are a lot different. Packs are usually centered around families, and now scientists know that the original alpha male theories are wrong. As for modern domesticated dogs, a lot of the pack instincts that you see in wolves and wild dogs have been bred out of them, but there are still some that stick around. The social structure inside your house is fairly similar to that of a wild pack. Your dog looks up to you as a leader, which is one reason why he's so loyal. This will include everyone in the household, including babies and cats. The exception to this is if someone in the house is threatening someone else in the house, well then the dog will be loyal to the one that treats him.